Hi yogis, Nin from Nin Yoga here. Today we have a flexibility flow, which means we're going to be moving from posture to posture and trying to enhance our flexibility. So we'll be particularly focusing on the hips, the legs, the hamstrings, and really getting deep into those areas. So with that said, let's begin. What we're going to do is to start in a reclined butterfly pose. So what I'd like you to do is to bring the soles of your feet together and let the knees drop out to the side and slowly come down to the floor. And we're just going to lie here, just finding our center and letting our pelvis open up. Let our hips sink to the ground. And if you like, you can bring your arms over your head, stretch them out if you've got the space. This will just allow you to get a bit of a stretch in the upper body as well as working the pelvis. Taking 3 more breaths cycles here. And slowly from here, just bringing your knees up to the center, feet planted down to the mat. And we're going to start working our right side. So what I'd like you to do is bring the arms back down if they're over the top of your head, and bring your right leg over your left thigh and try and keep your right foot flexed. Just adjusting yourself if you need to, and bring your left knee in towards your chest. Now you can either keep hold of your thigh from behind your left thigh like this, or you can straighten your leg and just come into this pose a bit more deeply. Maybe grabbing behind your knee, and this is what we call a reclined pigeon stretch. And we'll just take 2 rounds of breath here. And slowly bringing your left foot down to the ground and bringing your right foot back down to the ground to meet it. And then just bring your right knee towards your right armpit, and we'll go into a half happy baby pose. So from here, I'd like you to bring your knee to your armpit and grab either the soles of your right foot either side or your big toe, and then just stretch it out, let it sink in, and maybe straighten your left leg. Taking 2 rounds of breath. And then from here, bringing the knees in towards the chest, the right knee. And then just hold on to behind your right thigh and then begin to straighten the right leg and hold the ankle if you can, and just bringing your forehead up to your right knee. And just flexing here for 2 more breaths. And bringing your head back down to the mat. Bringing your right leg down to the mat. Knees up into the center. And then we're just going to do a twisted root pose. So from here, Bring your left leg over your right, and then just let your knees drop to the right hand side and look over your left shoulder. And if you can, bring your arms up into a cactus type position. And we'll just take 3 rounds of breath here before coming on and doing this all on the other side. Inhale, slowly bringing your knees up to center, unwrapping the legs, tucking your booty into the mat. And then we're going to bring all that stretching onto the other side. So from here, bringing your left leg this time over your right thigh and flexing your right foot. And then grabbing hold of your right thigh and bringing it towards the chest. And if it's available and within your practice, straighten your right leg. And you might like to grab hold of your right knee or right calf and bring that closer to you for reclined pigeon. And we'll take 2 breaths here. Bringing the right foot back down to the mat if it was up, and uncrossing legs. And now straightening out our right leg, bending our right knee, left knee, bringing it towards our chest and then out to the armpit, and then just reaching our left leg up to the sky and try and grab hold of either side of the soles of your foot or your big toe, and we'll come into half happy baby on the left hand side. Two more rounds of breath. And then begin to straighten up your left leg, grabbing hold of your calf, bringing your forehead towards your left knee, and keeping your right foot pointed straight out in front of you. Taking 2 more rounds of breath. Beautiful. Okay, letting go. Bringing your foot down to the mat. Bring your knees up to center. And now bringing the right leg over the left. Scooting maybe your hips across to the right. And just let your knees fall to the left. And look over your right shoulder. And go into cactus pose with your hands. And we'll just take 3 rounds of breath here. Feeling that lovely twist in the back, in the obliques, through the ribs, which helps stimulate the lymph nodes. Beautiful. Okay, bringing the knees up and crossing the legs, and then come up into tabletop pose. So just slowly bringing yourself up to the mat. Into a tabletop pose. Now, your shoulders should be above your wrists, knees hip width apart. And just take a breath here. And because this is a flexibility class, we're going to come into a pose which stretches out the tops, the upper body. And you're going to come into a puppy pose. So to do this, we just walk our hands forward, and the focus is on bringing the chest down to the mat rather than your hips. So just try as much as you can to reach forward and let your chest sink into the mat. being mindful of lifting your buttocks up to the ceiling as much as you possibly can, whilst bringing the shoulder blades together and stretching out the upper body. Taking 2 breaths here. Good. Now slowly beginning to walk up into a tabletop pose. We're now going to work on the right hand side and do a sequence this way to enhance flexibility, and then we're going to go to the other side. And the first pose we're going to do is going to get deep into the hips. So what I'd like you to do is come back into tabletop, then lifting up your right leg into a bird's dog pose. Circle the right hip around a few times, and then bring your right foot out in front of you between the palms, and then bringing your right palm to the left hand side of your right foot, and then just heel toe with your right foot. Maybe just come into center again, and then press down through the hips in lizard pose. Untuck the left knee and then just push it out a little bit further to put a bit more stretch into this pose. And if you want to go a bit further down, come to your forearms. And we'll take 3 rounds of breath here. Keeping, if you can, that pressure down through your right thigh. And then palms up to stabilize yourself, and just heel toe your right foot in between your palms, tuck your left foot under, and we'll come up into a high lunge, and we'll take what we call an easy twist here and lift our right palm up to the sky and just look over our right shoulder. Taking 2 more breaths here. And bringing the right palm down to the mat. And then we'll step back into tabletop pose and do that all on the other side again. So for this, come into bird dog pose. So lift your left leg up and do some circles with your left knee. And then we'll come into lizard pose on this side. So bringing your palms to the center of the mat, and try and step out this time with your left foot outside of your palms. So it should be that your left foot is on the outside of your left palm. And then just heel toe a little bit more to get that stretch. Untuck the right knee and just push it back a bit further. And we'll come into lizard pose. So feel that stretch down through your right hip. And you can keep it here if you like, or if you'd like to take it further, coming on to your forearms. And just take 3 rounds of breath here. Feeling that nice stretch through the thigh. And from here, we'll put our palms in the center of the mat, heel toe, our left foot into the center, tucking our right foot under and lifting our right leg off the mat. And we'll come into a easy twist. So lifting up your left palm and looking over your left shoulder, up to your left palm if that's possible. Taking 2 more breaths here. And bringing the left palm down. And bringing your right knee to the mat, your left knee meets the right, tucking toes under, bringing your booty back to your heels and come into downward facing dog. Now this is a really good stretch for your calves here. Just pedaling it out, bringing your chest towards your thighs, pressing down through the palms, biceps parallel to the ears, just pressing down through the calves. And from here we're going to do some sort of Shakti waves. So what that actually means, you're just going to come forward, pushing the chest forward into plank, and then bending the knees, taking the seated area back to our ankles and come back into downward facing dog. And we're just going to do 4 rounds of that, just to get the blood flowing in the upper body and through the calves. And the last one, pressing up with your seat. Then bending your knees into tabletop. And what we're going to do here is a few similar waves, but on the upper body. So make sure your knees are hip width apart. And then from tabletop position, making sure your wrists are below your shoulders. I just want you to bring down your stomach to the mat and push up into Cobra Pose. So feeling that lovely stretch in your lower spine. And then coming back onto your knees and just stretching, looking down through your navel, just making sure the spine is straight and level. And then we're going to do another 3 of those. Coming into Cobra. Okay, tucking the heels under, booty back to the mat, and come into downward facing dog. Pedaling it out behind you, down through your heels. I'm going to come into a warrior 2 pose. So from here, firstly, we're going to work the right hand side, do a small sequence on that side, and we'll do it on the other side after that. So bring your right foot in between the palms, and then just anchor down your left foot, bending your right knee, slowly coming up, and we're going to come into a warrior 2. So arms should be parallel with the mat, spine straight. Focus on an area, or if you'd like to take it further, focus on your right hand, making sure the arms are active and not dropping down, up and active. And then from here, just interlacing the fingers, finding your balance, and then bending down, forward, over your right thigh. We're going to come into humble warrior, lifting your arms up to the sky, bending down through your knee. Take 2 more breaths here. And then pushing up in your right foot. I'm going to come into a reverse warrior. So straighten your right leg, lifting up your right arm and just stretching, bringing your left palm down your leg. Reverse warrior. Inhale. Then begin to bring your right forearm slowly and with control down towards your right thigh, bending your right knee. And then option 1, lifting the left arm over your head. Option 2, left arm goes behind your back. Or option 3, bring your right arm under and bind your arms. Taking 2 breaths here. Pushing back with your left shoulder. Excellent. Excellent. And from here, just putting your palms down to the mat. Walk to the center, straightening up your right leg. We're going to come into a forward fold. Stretching through the hamstrings. Taking another breath. And then walking around with our hands towards our right foot and placing our right foot towards the front of the mat. And just maybe bringing your legs in slightly, anchoring yourself. And just straightening the right leg. We're going to come into a pyramid pose and bending over towards your right knee. You might want to bring your left foot around to face the direction that your right foot's facing also. Another really strong stretch for the hamstrings. And then bending your right knee, coming down to the mat, bending your left knee. We're going to come into a low lunge here, and then if it's available, coming up with our chest, reaching up with our palms. Option 1. Option 2 is bend your left leg and bring your right arm round to meet it, so that we get a quad stretch here. And this is really good ever if you're limbering up to do maybe some deeper stretches like the splits. Quads are really important as part of that opening process. So looking over your right shoulder, pulling into your quad. Exhale, letting go with control of your left foot down to the mat, bringing your palms to the center. Bring yourself back into tabletop, and then bring your knees out to the side of the mat, and we'll go into extended child's pose just for a few breaths to get our center. So pushing back with your tailbone towards your heels, forehead down to the mat, and maybe notice how one side feels compared to the other. Okay, we'll do that all again on the other side. So from here, just bring your knees into tabletop, so below your hips, palms under your wrists, wrists under your shoulders, tucking your toes in, bring your booty back to your heels, up into downward facing dog. Pedaling it out here for a short space of time, stretching down those calves, getting them warmed up. Before we bring our left foot to the front of the mat, in between the palms, and then go up into a warrior 2. So to do this, maybe bring your right foot, twizzle it round slightly so you can anchor yourself. Then bringing the torso up, bringing the palms parallel with the mat, and lifting up. So here you want to see straight spine, shoulder blades coming together. Warrior 2, and just make sure, as always it's easy to do, make sure you're bending through your knee, your left knee. Beautiful. Okay, and now we're going to come into a humble warrior. So interlace the fingers, maybe this time the thumb in a different position and the fingers in the position that doesn't feel familiar. And then we're going to bend forward in towards our left thigh, our torso on top, lifting the arms up. And we're going to take 2 rounds of breath here. And from here, we're going to press down with our palms and just begin to lift our torso up, straightening up our left leg, lifting up our left palm and looking up to the sky. And bringing our right arm down, resting on our right leg for support. Reverse warrior. And then from here, slowly begin to bend your left knee and bring your left forearm down towards your left thigh. And we do extended side angle. So option 1 is bring your right arm over your head, and you should have an almost straight line from your toes to your fingers. Option 2, bringing the right palm behind your back. And option 3, bring your left arm underneath your left thigh and bind your arms. And pushing back with your right shoulder. And then from here, just taking 2 rounds of breath, pressing in to your right left thigh, and then bringing your palms down to the mat. We're going to come into a forward fold, wide-legged forward fold. So from here, we're stretching out our hamstrings and bringing our palms to the mat. And then walking around with our palms to the front of the mat and twisting and twizzling around our left foot. Maybe just bringing in the right foot slightly and making it face the direction of your left foot. Straightening up your left knee, and we come into a pyramid pose. So bring your forehead down to your left knee. And then begin to bend your left knee, bend your right knee, and we come into a low lunge. And this might be enough for you today. Or another option is to push down through your feet, pushing down through your hips, and come up into a low lunge with your palms above your head, straightening your spine, bringing your shoulder blades back, shoulders away from the ears, so you're not hunched up like that. And then, if it's an option for you to take this further, bring your right palm down to the mat, bend your right knee, and try and reach round your left arm, and then looking over your left shoulder. So you get that quad stretch there as well. From here, taking one last round of breath, and slowly and with control let go of your right leg, bringing your palms to the front of the mat, and go into extended child's pose again. Legs out to the side of your mat, knees bent, and we'll just sink into the mat, feeling that lovely stretch, and try and push back with your tailbone towards your heels here, just so you can stretch out the spine and enhance flexibility through your back and promote good spine health. And from here, just going to come and lift up into a kneeling position before twizzling around to the front of our mat. And coming into another quite deep stretch for the hips. So to do this, we're bringing our feet out to the side into a pose we call dragonfly pose, or sort of a prep for the middle splits. Now you don't have to have your legs straight, but if you can, that's great. And you can either bring your palms behind you and stretch out the chest, keeping the feet flexed, or bringing your palms up to the sky and then walking forward, bending your torso towards the mat. Always trying to keep your feet flexed, and maybe try and bring your forearms down to the mat. This isn't a competition of who could get the lowest or the widest angle. Everyone here is opening up their pelvis and hips in some way. And you are exactly where your body needs to be. Getting into these poses can take a lot of patience and practice. Be kind to yourselves. Don't push it. Beautiful. Okay? Walking back with your palms. Balancing yourself and with control, vertebra by vertebra, coming up into a seated position. We're now going to bring the legs to the front of the mat. Taking an inhale and an exhale. Coming down to our mat where we began. Vertebra by vertebra. Knees towards our chest. Opening our knees towards our armpits. Straightening our legs. And then bringing our palms to the soles of our feet. Inside, outside, or to the toes. Into happy baby. And if you want to take this a little bit further or do another variation, begin to straighten the legs and flex your hamstrings just one final time. Bend your knees if they're not bent already. Slowly bringing the soles of your feet down to the mat. Crossing the right leg over the left. Scooting over maybe your hips to the right. And bringing your legs down to the left. And do a cactus pose here. And look over your left shoulder. Final twist in your spine. Bringing your knees up to center, uncrossing the legs, and then bringing your left knee over your right, and just bringing your knees towards the right, and look over your left shoulder. Sink your hips over towards the left. That helps you get a bit deeper into the stretch. Okay, bringing your head back to center and uncrossing the legs. We're just going to sink into our final resting pose, Shavasana, so that your feet flop out to the side, your palms go up to the ceiling, your palms open towards the ceiling, and just inhaling into your stomach, into those areas that you stretched out, and notice how stretched, limbered up and active your body now feels, as well as almost and also feeling relaxed, which is what yoga really provides, a sense of awakening, but a positive awakening. Taking your breaths in, just getting that control, letting your breath serve you, and bringing your thoughts back to the mat. Don't let yourself get distracted with any thoughts or obligations or loyalties to anything else right this second. You're just here in the present. Slowly from here begin to wiggle your palms and your feet, your legs and your arms, and then bringing your knees back up so that your feet are flat on the mat. Flop your knees over to either side, bringing your palm down to support you as we come back up into an easy pose. Looping our shoulders behind us, Taking a deep stretch over our heads with our palms, bring the palms together, the palms to our chest, and we bow and we say Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you so much, yogis, for doing that practice with me. I really want to know how that felt for you, maybe how things turned out for you in that class. If you like what you see, please subscribe to my channel. Again, offer any comments of any ideas. I'd really like to know how you're doing in these practices, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you.